Sairam students, welcome back. Today we will be doing the second part of our lesson 2.3 Three Questions by Leo Tolstoy. Now in our first part, what did we learn in our first part? What did we read and what did we learn? In our first part, we learned that the king made a proclamation as he wanted answers to the three of his questions. And he was not satisfied with the answers which he got from the people, from many learned person. So what he did, he went to a hermit to get the answers through to his three questions. But he did not go as a king. He disguised as a common person and went to meet the hermit, because the hermit did only had conversation, only had talk with the common people. So that is why he disguised as a common person and went to the hermit to get the answers to his three questions. Now let's see what is there ahead in the story. The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. The king watched in silence for a while. Then, feeling sorry for the hermit, he said, "You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you." The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. When he had dug 2 beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit again gave no answer but rose, stretched out his hands for the spade, and said, "Now rest a while and let me work a bit." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed, and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, "I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say so, and I will go home." "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. "Let us see who it is." Okay, so the king is with the hermit, and when the king has reached the hermit's hut, he finds that the hermit is digging something, and he asks the hermit to answer the 3 questions which he wants the answer for. So when he comes over there, the hermit is digging, and he watches the king in silence but says nothing. Then the king tells him, he feels sorry and tells him that, "You leave it, I will help you." And willingly, even the hermit gives him the spade and watches him, the king, dig the ground. So when he had dug the 2 beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit again gave no answers to his question. And then he told the king, the hermit told the king, "You rest for a while and let me continue." But the king denied that, and he continued with his work. 1 hour passed and another, and then it was the sun began to sink, means it was almost getting darker, and behind the trees the king at last stuck the spade in the ground and said, "At last you give me an answer. Tell me whether you are going to answer my questions. If you can, otherwise just say no and I will go." And while they are talking to each other, the hermit says, "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. "Let us see who it is." So while the king and the hermit are talking, at that time the hermit notices that someone is coming running towards them, and he said, "Let's see who it is." What happens further? Let's see. The king turned around and saw a bearded man come running out of the forest. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach, and blood was flowing from under them. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground, moaning feebly. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as well as he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and the towel the hermit had. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage soaked with warm blood and washed and rebandaged the wound. When at last the blood stopped flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought some fresh water and gave it to him. So while they were talking, someone comes running, and what they see is they see a bearded man coming running out of the forest, and he's pressing against his stomach, and they can see blood was flowing under, means somebody has he is wounded. When he reached the king, he fainted and he fell to the ground. And then what did the king do? The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing and they tended to his wounds. A large wound in his stomach, and the king washed it and bandaged it with his handkerchief and a towel the hermit had. He kept on doing this until the blood had stopped oozing out, until the blood had stopped flowing. The man revived. He came to his senses because he became unconscious. Yes, and when he came to his senses, he asked for water. The king gave him fresh water to drink. So the king ultimately had saved a person's life. Now what happens further? Let's see. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut. The man lay there quietly with his eyes closed. But by now the king was so tired after his walk and the work he had done that he lay down himself and also fell asleep. When he awoke in the morning, it took him some time to remember where he was and who was the strange bearded man lying by his side and gazing intently at him. "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice. When he saw that the king was awake and was looking at him, "I do not know you and I have nothing to forgive you for," said the king. So after the king had tended to the wounds of that bearded man, they took him inside. The king took him inside the hermit's hut and put him down on the ground to rest. And even the king was tired with whatever work he had done all throughout the day, and he also falls asleep. But when in the morning he wakes up, he finds something strange, and then he tries to recall the incidents which had happened the previous day. And then he sees this person who is wounded gazing intently at him with lot of concentration. He's gazing at him, and he asks for an apology, forgiveness. "Forgive me," says the bearded man in a weak voice. He's weak, he's wounded, so he's weak. And when he sees the king awake, he asks for his forgiveness. The king says, "I do not know you, and I even do not know why should I forgive you. I have nothing to forgive you. You have not done nothing wrong to me. Why do you want me to forgive you?" Yes, so even the king is puzzled as why this bearded man is asking for his forgiveness. So what is the reason for his forgiveness? So the bearded man says, "You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore to revenge himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property. I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return. So I came out of my ambush to find you. Your bodyguards recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them but would have bled to death had you not dressed my wound. I wished to kill you, but you have saved my life. Now if I live and if you wish it, I'll serve you all my life." So when the king asks the bearded man why he is asking for forgiveness, he tells exactly what he is and what he wants. So he tells that you know me, but you do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore to revenge himself on you. The bearded man tells the king that he is his enemy and he had come to take revenge on him because he had executed his brother and seized his property. Okay, executed means killed his brother. So he says, I knew. Then he says, also telling him that he was aware that the king had gone alone to the hermit's place and he had made the decision to kill him when the king returns to his palace. But the day passed and you did not come out, and I was in a hideout, but you did not come out, so I had to come out of my ambush to find you. As soon as I came out, your bodyguards recognized me and wounded me, because these bodyguards were there for the security of the king. So they recognized him as the enemy of the king, but obvious they wounded him, they attacked him, and fortunately I escaped from them, and otherwise I would have bled to death. Otherwise I would have died if you had not dressed my wound. So I wish to kill you, but you have saved my life. So the king was unaware that this person had come to kill him, but still he helped him, he saved his life. So this bearded man is saying that once I had resolved, I wished to kill you, but on the other hand, you saved my life. And with this gesture of the king, he is, totally transformed, and he's telling that if I live and if you wish, I'll serve you all my life. So he tries to, influence the king, that you can say tries to convince the king that he wants to be loyal to the king because of the gesture or the deed the king had done to him by saving his life. Otherwise this bearded man would have been that would have died if the king had not helped him, not saved him his life by tending to his wounds. So this bearded man wishes that if he lives, he would serve the king rather than serving his enemy. Fine. So this is, in this part we will, second part we will stop over here, and we'll have a quick recap as to what is the we have read in this lesson. So in the first part we learned that the king wanted answers to his 3 questions. Which were his 3 questions? Yes. Who is the most important person for you? Yes. And second question, what is the most important thing you can do? And third question, which is the most important time to do that work? So these were the 3 questions, the answers to which the king wanted. He did not get the answers which he got did not satisfy him, and as a result he went to meet the hermit, who was a very learned man who was renowned for his wisdom. The king disguised as a common man and went to meet the hermit. He tells the hermit about his 3 questions, but the hermit and also waits the whole day for the hermit to answer, but the hermit does not give any answer. And while they are talking with each other, a person comes running out of the forest, and when he comes running out of the forest, he finds that there is this person is wounded and he's bleeding. The king and the hermit they tend to his wounds, and the hermit the king takes him to his heart and makes him rest. The next morning when the king wakes up, he finds that the bearded man is gazing at him, and he asks him what happened, and the hermit says, I am sorry, forgive me. The king is puzzled, why is he asking me for forgiveness? And then the bearded man says that you do not know me, but I know you. And he says, you do not know me, but I know you. I had resolved to kill you because you executed one enemy, the brother of one enemy, and also seized his property. And I had known that you had come to the hermit place all alone, and I would kill you on your return to the palace. So, but the whole day long you did not come out, and I came out of the ambush to find you, and ultimately I was wounded by your bodyguards, and I escaped from there and came over here, and where you helped me to revive, where you helped me save my life. Otherwise I would have bled to death. I had wished to kill you, but you saved me. So this has transformed me. This has changed my attitude, my perception towards you. And from now, if I live, I wish to serve you all my life. So this is the story so far of this lesson. We'll continue the remaining lesson in our next part. And for now, you have to see, this is the picture where the king is attending to the wound of the bearded man and with the hermit. Yes, and this is the homework which you have to do. Choose the correct answers and fill in the blanks. Okay, so over here you have to do it. Varied, what does it mean? It is given in the paragraph 3. So varied, what does it mean? It means different. Many learned people came to the court and gave different answers. The synonym of convinced is, synonym means, yes, persuaded. The king wanted to know the dash time to begin everything. Yes, the right time to begin everything. I pray you to answer my question. Here, pray means, what does it mean? Please to God, request, order, or suggest. So I pray is not pleading to God, but he's requesting the hermit. So the answer is request. And choose an adverb that collocates with breathed. Yes, so you breathe heavily. Yes, so breathed heavily is the correct answer. So we have already discussed the answers to this. Only thing you have to do is you have to do this homework in your sheets or in your notebook. Fine. So hope you have understood this, and we will meet again in our third part of this lesson, the 3 questions. So for now, thank you. Sai Ram.